there's a playback, please. Okay.
And welcome also the performer at this year's annual general meeting, Ms. Tasha Pelty. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly delighted to welcome in particular some of our customers who have decided to share this moment with us. Your presence demonstrates your desire to maintain a close relationship with the bank. We sincerely appreciate the customers who have so willingly offered to display and promote their products and services today. We also recognize our many affiliates who continue to partner with us on different levels to advance the bank's agenda in promoting and influencing the economic and social development of Dominica. To the management and staff of the bank, we warmly welcome you. In particular, we recognize and welcome Mrs. Romalda Hyacinth, who recently retired from the bank. We applaud you for your dedication and commitment to the bank over your 29-year tenure. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I trust that this morning's proceedings will be of tremendous benefit to you. Once again, a warm welcome is extended to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnrose, for this inspiring welcome remarks. We wish to invite to the podium Ambassador Martin Charles, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Aid Bank. Mr. Charles.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I'd like to recognize the Honorable Reginald Austri, the newly appointed Deputy Prime Minister. As we know, this is the first time in our country's history that we have a Deputy Prime Minister. And so we would like to welcome and congratulate Mr. Austri on his appointment. Also like to recognize the other members of Cabinet present here with us this morning. In particular, Mr. Joseph Isaac, the Member of Parliament for the Roseau Central Constituency. I'd also like to recognize Ms. Dennis Charles, the Member of Parliament for the Sufria constituency and a former board member of the Aid Bank. I want to recognize as well the members of the Board of Directors of the Aid Bank, Mrs. Matilda Johnrose, the Acting General Manager of the Aid Bank, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Worship, the Mayor of Roseau, Mrs. Irene John, Mrs. Rosamond Edwards, the Financial Secretary, Mr. Augustus Etienne, the Deputy Director of the Dominica Social Security, our auditors, Grant Thornton from St. Lucia, recognize our chairperson, the Director of Aid Bank, Ms. Helen Pascal, Father Charles Martin, not Martin Charles. We would like to recognize you. Management and staff of the Aid Bank, affiliates of the bank, our many customers who are here with us this morning, our clients, other invited guests, those of you listening via radio and television, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to present to you today the annual report of the Dominica Agricultural, Industrial, and Development Bank for the financial year ended June 30th, 2017. As the only development bank in Dominica, the role of the bank becomes increasingly more germane. This financial year 2016-2017 can be considered as a period of gradual rebuilding, stemming from the effects of Tropical Storm Erica in August 2015, which devastated the agricultural, manufacturing, and tourism sectors. The bank played a critical role in the economic recovery process by increasing its investment in these sectors by 134% over the previous financial year. This was made possible from funds received from the government of Dominica under the Citizenship by Investment Program, CBI. We can report that for the period under review, a total of 114 farms were developed, with a total investment of over $2 million. 61% of this investment went towards farm development, and 16% went towards the development of poultry enterprises. The major proportion of this investment, or 24%, was made in the northeast region of Kalibishi to Marigot, followed by 23% in the southeast region of Cassibrus to Delices. Operating in a small, open economy, and given the ongoing macroeconomic challenges following Tropical Storm Erica, this continues to impact negatively the bank's loan portfolio quality and overall financial performance. The bank's mandate of promoting economic development, which it has done, particularly in the tourism and industry sectors, puts it at risk of a feeble portfolio quality due to the deterioration performance of the sectors. The bank continues to make space available at the industrial estate for manufacturing, services, ICT, communication, and warehousing. As at the end of the financial year, more than 1,000 individuals were employed from activities generated at the industrial estates. Notwithstanding the effects of two major Category 5 hurricanes, we were able to continue to maintain our relevance. Therefore, I am pleased this morning to report a net profit on operations of EC 0.48 million as at June 30th, 2017. Despite the challenges faced by Venezuela, the bank was able to mobilize a second drawdown of funds from Bandes in the amount of US 3.97 million, and together with funds received from the government of Dominica under the CBI program for agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing, we were able to increase the overall loan approvals over the last financial year by 21.5%, with a value of 16.8 million. The loan disbursements, however, declined over the same period by 20.81 million, by 20.81%, recording an amount of 13.82 million. Overall, the bank reported a slight decline in its loan portfolio by 1.33%, from 169.2 million in June 2016 to 168.8 million as at June 2017. During the period 2016-2017, the bank received grant funding from the European Investment Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund to strengthen its risk management processes, business continuity, and staff training. Shareholders, I wish to report that the bank's strategic plan for the period 2017 to 2020, under the theme committed to building a resilient Dominica, was approved. The main outcome of the strategic plan is to achieve an effective and efficient institution with favorable liquidity, a high-quality loan portfolio, empowered human resource, optimal visibility, and expanding market share. We are committed to building resilience to the effects of climate change by ensuring that consideration of climate change risk is reflected throughout our operation. Concurrently, the bank has also revised its organizational structure, which caters for a realignment of activities and a leaner and more efficient organization. With the achievement of this outcome, the bank will maintain its sustainability and be in a better position to build a more resilient Dominica. With the passage of Hurricane Maria, the plan has had to be augmented due to the change in events and priorities. Increased focus will be placed in the following overall objectives: to strengthen focus on customer care and corporate image by further streamlining its procedures, enhance relationship, building strategies, and highlight the customer service culture. Increased focus will be placed on enhancing the bank's corporate image by strengthening our identity as the premier customer service center. To increase investments in the productive sector without compromising further the quality of its portfolio. Achievements of this goal requires adequate financial resources, increased intelligence gathering and strategic partnership, and enhanced project appraisals to include risk assessments in monitoring tools, all of which are vigorously being pursued. The bank will continue to promote sustainability through energy efficiency, renewable energy initiatives. In addition to an EE and RE component to businesses, the bank has introduced an energy efficiency component under its mortgage line of credit, where existing and prospective homeowners can now include in their mortgage any cost relating to energy efficiency, such as solar power, solar water, etc. To seek funding for the promotion of climate resilient projects, grant funding in the amount of US $35 million has already been obtained from the Caribbean Development Bank for the provision of technical assistance to integrate appropriate climate risk assessment provisions into our investment policies and procedures, and strengthen staff skills in order to improve the overall due diligence process for credit risk appraisal. The bank continues to pursue vigorously the restoration of the industrial estate buildings post-Hurricane Maria. Further upgrades and expansion will be undertaken in order to position the estate to be better able to fulfill its mandate of providing the physical infrastructure to support businesses. We are grateful to the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica for its continued financial and regulatory support. We believe that the funds made available for investments in the productive sectors of agriculture, tourism, manufacturing will help our country, one, to earn much needed foreign exchange, and two, to add to the overall GDP. We applaud the Honorable Minister of Finance and Prime Minister for his foresight and aggressive pursuit in restoring the economy post-Hurricane Maria into a more resilient nation. With the participation of all stakeholders, particularly the Aid Bank, this goal will definitely be attained. We express our heartfelt thanks to the government for its confidence placed in the bank to be given the opportunity to be the vehicle through which the concessionary lines of credit are made available to the productive sectors. Continued gratitude is expressed to the Financial Secretary for her oversight and guidance to the bank. We thank also the Dominica Social Security, our minority shareholder, for its support throughout the financial year. Special appreciation is extended to the members of the Board of Directors, whom I've had the privilege to lead for the past 6 years as chairman. I thank you for your diligent and steadfast service to the bank over the years. Your resilience and commitment are exemplary as we all seek to build our beautiful country. We express sincere appreciation to the management and staff for their contributions and commitment throughout the year. As you heard, the General Manager acting recognized Mrs. Hyacinth, and I too would like to lend my voice in wishing Mrs. Hyacinth well after serving the bank for so long. To our customers, we express our appreciation for your tenacity and pursuit in economic development, and state that our unwavering commitment in assisting towards this goal, in keeping with our mandate of promoting the economic development of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I would like to invite you to view in pictorial form some of the challenges that Aid Bank has had to face for the financial year 2016-2017. So please sit back and be empathetic to us.
The Dominica Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank, DAIDB, popularly known as the Aid Bank, was established by an Act of Parliament on 8th July 1971 and commenced operations in the last quarter of 1971. From its inception to date, the Aid Bank has been mandated to promote and influence economic development in the Commonwealth of Dominica and to mobilize funds for the purpose of such development. During the 47 years of its existence, the Aid Bank has invested approximately $595 million into the Dominica economy by on-lending to customers within the productive and social sectors. Specifically, total investments in the various sectors are as follows. Agriculture, including fisheries, $91 million. Industry, including manufacturing, services, and transportation, $124 million. Tourism, $108 million. Infrastructure, $8 million. Housing, $149 million. And education, $114 million. The bank also manages industrial estates, which supports the bank's development mandate by providing a platform for expansion of the economy through the provision of affordable space for investors engaged in manufacturing, business process outsourcing, such as call centers, a range of services, and warehousing. The Aid Bank and the government of Dominica signed a number of loan agreements funded under the Citizenship by Investment Program, which provides concessionary lines of credit for on lending to the productive sectors. And by the end of the financial year, the bank had invested more than $5 million into the economy, mainly in the agricultural and tourism sectors. The economy had started to rebound after Tropical Storm Erika, with visible expansion in agriculture and other productive sectors. However, the economy felt the fate of Hurricane Maria in September 2017. The bank offered relief in the form of a grace period on principal and interest on loans in various sectors and on rent for affected customers on the industrial estates. The full force of catastrophic Category 5 Hurricane Maria resulted in the loss of lives, island-wide destruction to land, buildings, infrastructure, and crops. The hurricane silenced communications, disabled the island's electricity supply, and cut off running water. The Aid Bank was not immune from the devastation, with severe damage being done to the bank's building, lands, and sheds of the industrial estates. Initially, under seriously trying conditions, management and staff traversed to work, undertook the clearing of debris from the main office and industrial estate, and subsequently returned to work on October 12, 2017. Assessments revealed that the structural damage caused by Hurricane Maria to the projects in the bank's portfolio was 54% for tourism, non-PCAD facilities, and 13% for PCAD facilities, 69% for manufacturing facilities, 35% for services and transportation sectors, 21% for housing, and 76% for agriculture projects. The bank played an integral role in the World Bank-funded Emergency Grant Program, processing and disbursing checks to thousands of farmers and fisher folk. We stand committed to working with the government in support of the restoration and relief efforts. Following Hurricane Maria, the CBI funded agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing lines of credit were revisited with more relaxed terms and conditions, including a further reduction in the interest rate from 3% to 2%. The bank is committed to continue its engagement with stakeholders and potential beneficiaries to facilitate access to these facilities, which are critical to employment creation and foreign exchange earnings. The Dominica Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank is looking to attract viable projects and invites and encourages existing customers and potential clients to visit our offices to engage our services in ways that are mutually beneficial, with the shared objective of building a resilient Dominica.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would really like to thank the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica for affording me the opportunity to serve in at Aid Bank and by extension my country. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Charles, for your review of the bank's activities over the year 2016 to 17 and for providing these forward-looking statements. I can assure you on behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff of the bank that you will be hearing good things about us. You've given us a mandate that we will seek to fulfill, even in your absence. We wish to also thank the staff, especially the IT department, as well as GIS, for assisting us in putting together this footage that clearly supports the activities of the bank and demonstrate the resilience of the bank and its staff and leadership. So I thank you again, Mr. Charles, and thanks again to GIS and the IT department and the team putting together the footage that we just viewed. Now, after all of this, some of us may feel a bit emotional having reviewed part of what Hurricane Maria did. We may feel a little bit emotional. So it's a good time for us to get a little bit of entertainment from our performer, Ms. Tasha P. So I'm going to ask her to come forward.
Good morning to everybody here. I will be doing one number this morning, but I would not go in front of the table because I don't want to give you my back. So I hope you enjoy the lyrics from this song, and I hope it touches you in a way that reminds you that you should be resilient Dominicans and expect only the best from Aid Bank. Am I right? All right, so when you're ready, DJ. Thank you. I don't know if it's a thing this morning with technical, but we could go with that, right? It's okay, right? All right, here we go. Are you ready? All right, I'm ready too. Are you ready? Are you ready? Woo! Yeah, yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready? Woo! Are you ready? Are you ready? No, 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 no. When the roll is called out, I'll be standing taller to face the darkest and the hardest of times. We'll be taking care of all the children thereof, but if it's required, we'll be on the front line. You can call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same and the story's been told, call me anytime, never back out. Dominica is on the rise, don't you ever have doubt. Now hear this for you. When you are willing to serve, there is room to observe, to see if you can walk the walk you talk. Let me give you my word, my voice must be heard. Bravery is a piece of my heart, and call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same and the story's been told, call me, you never back out. Aid Bank is on the rise, don't you ever have doubts. Never say never, we're in this forever to fight and be strong. Once is for better and right, jar a letter and moving right along. And I'll roll with the punches, I'll accept changes, work with the formula, do what I have to do. You can call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same and the story's been told, call me anytime, never back out. Dominica is on the rise, don't you ever have doubts. Aid Bank is on the rise, don't you ever have doubts. Dominica is on the rise, don't you ever have doubts. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, Tasha Peltier, Tasha P. We recognize that Tasha P is resilient and versatile because we've known her as a Calypso. She was actually the Calypso Monarch in 2011, a year when she won 3 titles: Calypso Monarch, Calypso Queen, and also the Queen of the Stardom Tent. So let's congratulate and applaud her for her good work. We'd like to invite our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Agriculture, Food and Fisheries, Honorable Reginald Austrie, to deliver the feature address.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me first of all recognize in our midst members of Cabinet, and I want to especially single out the newest member of Cabinet, Minister Isaac. I'm not going to try to mention his portfolio here. He has such an important ministry that I can't afford to make any mistakes with it. Very important to the rebuilding process. But just to say to you that Minister Isaac sat with us at our first Cabinet meeting yesterday, and he has really hit the road running. And the government does expect great things from Minister Isaac. Other members of Parliament, Financial Secretary Rosamond Edwards, and other permanent secretaries, Excellency Martin Charles, Chairman of the Board of the Aid Bank, and other members of the Board of the Aid Bank, Mrs. John Rose, General Manager Acting of the bank and staff of the bank, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Reverend Father Martin, Mayor of Roseau, Irene John, Mr. Etienne from the Dominican Social Security, our auditors, and all other management and staff of the bank, to the customers, the clients, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, those in the room and those listening via radio broadcast. After the death of the citizens and widespread damage and destruction left behind by Tropical Storm Erica in 2017, we began to see some signs of our livelihood being restored and our economy rebounding from the 96% loss of GDP that we suffered as a result of Erica. Just as we were beginning to breathe a sigh of relief, with strong prospects of better days ahead, along came the most violent and vicious hurricane to hit Dominica in living memory. Maria left in its wake damage and destruction amounting to 226% of our GDP, traumatized communities, mourning and loss of loved ones, and just gazing in disbelief at the sheer destruction to homes and infrastructure. It became clear to all of us that in this era of climate change, we had to rebuild Dominica, and in doing so, to correct the errors and misconceptions of the past that were exposed at great cost by Erica and Maria. We had to build a new Dominica, the world's first climate resilient nation, and all hands were required to be on board in this national exercise, sustained survival and development. One of the important hands to be on board is that of the Aid Bank, the financial institutions Dominicans have come to regard as a financial engine for economic growth and private sector development. As a matter of fact, in this post-Maria message to the bank is one that should be concerned to all organizations in all sectors that provide services to Dominicans. In order to bring greater efficiency and effectiveness to functions at the ministerial level, the Cabinet has been subject to such reform. This is going to be extended to the wider public sector. My message to the bank today brings the same message, a message that calls you to revisit and, where necessary, reform your mode of operation so as to bring a greater level of satisfaction to your clients and to the benefit of the country as a whole. That being said, I wish to say to you that the government is generally pleased with the achievements of the bank to date, and particularly in the last year, where we have partnered with government in making available low-cost financing to various sectors. Government relies on the bank to provide development financing to the sectors of the economy that would otherwise have no such access. In the aftermath of hurricane, the effort of the bank in granting some level of relief to its clients are recognized. Significantly, the bank is able to report profits of $482,390 for fiscal year ending 2016-2017. However, the task before us is a great one, and the achievements of the past are not necessarily sufficient to take us to the goal of rebuilding a climate-resilient Dominica. We are therefore concerned that we have not been able to make more progress in ensuring that the funds made available by the government on lending to key sectors are not moving as quickly as we anticipated, given that the facilities were structured based on discussions as articulated by the needs of those relevant sectors. In this period of rebuilding our country, the bank therefore has to be strategic and practical, accommodating yet careful. The question is then, how does the bank reach an equitable balance? How can it ensure that the needs of its clients are met? There is no doubt that the bank continues to play a vital role in the overall development of Dominica's economy. I note from the report that for the period ending June 30th, 2017, loans approval increased by 21.5% over the previous financial year, with education and tourism related loans receiving the most approvals. However, it also noted that actual approval fell short of projections. We note also that loan disbursement for 2016-2017 totals some 13.6 million, with the education sector receiving the largest share, followed by the housing sector. Disbursements have been affected by the liquidity position of the bank relative to its approved commitment and also fell short of projections. It is with dismay, however, that your report shows an increase in non-performing loans of somewhere in the region of 50% during the fiscal year 2016-2017, with the industry sector accounting for the largest share at 42.5% and tourism 36.1%. Of equal concern is that the portfolio at risk ratio now stands at 38%, up from 34.3% at the end of the previous year. I am sure that clients could advance many reasons why they do not meet their obligations, and these reasons may well be valid. The truth is that too many of us do not attach high priority to such payments. We treat with every other payment but our debt payment obligations. Some may go as far as to suggest that the bank is owned by the state, so why should we pay? I will repeat, as we've done on numerous occasions, that when borrowers do not meet their obligations, it is the taxpayer of the country who will bear the cost. I therefore urge all of us who owes the bank to meet their obligations. One aspect of building resilience is to have access to credit. The aid bank would want to be in a position to raise financing to lend to finance and to recovery of many of the processes. But the ability of the bank to raise such financing depends on a large extent on its financial achievements, and an increase in non-performing loans does not constitute a positive financial outcome. While borrowers have a responsibility to pay, the bank should give consideration to measures that may incentivize them to do so. The intention should never be to encourage lack of compliance, but it is hoped that if such measures are contemplated, borrowers will see another attempt to assist them in keeping to their obligations. Despite this challenge, however, the bank has been able to maintain a good relationship with its creditors. It receives funding from the EIB for technical assistance in the areas of risk assessment to improve resource allocation. The government of Dominica has signed a guarantee to support the loan agreement for a line of credit from the CDB. The second portion under the Bandis line of credit was received on July 4th, 2017. These funds have been targeted to identified areas to spur economic development. Additionally, government will continue to provide special lines where these are deemed necessary. In that regard, the government is making available a line of credit to the aid bank to on-lend to home owners who need to rehabilitate their damaged homes in a more resilient manner. These funds will be made available to supplement insurance payouts that they would have received. A similar line will be made available to the Government Housing Loans Board. I am advised that the performance of the special facilities provided by the government has been mixed. Government has participated in discussions on the matter with the loans to the hotel and manufacturing sectors, with a view to determining how these facilities can be deemed to be more accessible to the respective sectors. In the case of the hotels, an amendment was made to the original agreement to allow for a wider range of activities to be financed post-Hurricane Maria. The bank advises that inquiries into this facility have since increased. In respect to the manufacturing sector, discussions are still ongoing. The fundamental issue raised by the beneficiaries in the matter is a matter for refinancing. It is standard that refinancing of this type by government is not used to refinance old loans. The whole process is to increase output. Refinancing old debt does not necessarily constitute and result in new outputs. However, the government is willing to continue the dialogue to reach an acceptable medium. In respect to the agricultural facility, I've been advised that 114 applications are recorded as having been approved, and a similar amount, I understand, is still waiting approval. The results of these investments, coupled with quick response of government post-Maria, are seen in the quick recovery of the agricultural sector. Government is pleased that our fresh produce market is in operation and exports of commodities have increased. I want to say to you, as the new Minister for Agriculture, having spent a few days in the ministry and still trying to find my way around it, one thing is clear, that if we are to succeed in agriculture, there has to be some administrative and structural changes to the ministry, both at the ministry level and at the farm level. We have to make the ministry work for the farmers. The farmers are too important a sector in the society for them to be so low down in the chain of agriculture in this country. Farmers will have to be at the forefront of championing our food security situation. I want to say to the farmers out there that very shortly we'll be embarking on a Meet the Farmers tour. And that tour will primarily constitute of taking your telephone numbers and giving you my telephone number, that you can have a direct relationship and direct contact with the minister, that we may find ourselves in a position to deliver on time and in time to the farmers of this country. During the next few hours, I'll be meeting with the various sectors and hoping that as early as Tuesday of next week, I can bring a recommendation to Cabinet, and if Cabinet approves, within the next week, you will hear about the changes that we intend to make to bring about greater and more efficiency at the ministry and at the farm level. Government supports the bank and its plans to incentivize market-driven in the coming months. We will ensure that we continue to offer the best service and to make it more comfortable that our clients and our customers can in fact meet their obligation to the bank. At this point, I need to thank the chairman and the board for its support and direction that they've given to the bank over the last year, and to congratulate the chairman, His Excellency Martin Charles, for his new assignment, and to wish him well in his new posting. We also wish to thank the management and staff of the Aid Bank for your support. We know that your task is not the easiest, but we extend our appreciation to you for your efforts thus far. Dominica is ours to build, and at this time, to build with greater resilience. The work is far from completed, and we look forward to the contribution of everyone as we strive to become the first climate resilient nation in the world. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Okay, I've been asked to request that the owner of a white BMW, registration number CD078, could you please remove your vehicle to allow the removal of a container from the premises? A white BMW. Okay, thank you, sir. No, that's the last one you had. Now, I would like to thank our minister for his very profound feature address. There's some words from his address that will resonate. For me, it's the word food security, because if we intend to build a resilient nation, we need to have good food in our stomachs. Okay? So, Mr. Minister, thanks once more for your very profound address. I'd like to, at this point, ask Ms. Cyrus to come forward to assist with reading citations, because among us here today are two individuals, two outstanding personalities who have served the bank and our blessed country with distinction for over a decade for one and over 2 decades for the other. So I'll ask Ms. Cyrus, I won't say who they are, but Ms. Cyrus will read the citations and we will glean from her presentation who these individuals are. Ms. Cyrus?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Mrs. Romualda Bernadette Hyacinth joined the Dominica Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank, Aid Bank, in 1989 as Assistant Secretary in the Loans Department. Within a year of being with the bank, she was appointed Registry Officer. In 2002, she was made Administrative Officer within the Corporate Affairs Division. In 2003, Mrs. Hyacinth was transferred to the Industrial Estates Unit as Administrative Officer, a position she held for a few years. 13 years later, in March 2016, she was appointed Manager of the Industrial Estates after having acted in that position from December 2013. Shortly thereafter, she was transferred to the Human Resource Department and acted in the position as Senior Manager, Human Resource. She was confirmed in that position in January 2017, where she served until her retirement in February 2018. During her tenure at the bank, she served in numerous other capacities, namely Senior Administrative Officer and Bank Secretary, Personnel Officer, Supervisor of Collections, Special Projects Communications Coordinator, and Board Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Directors, Management, and Staff of the Dominica Agricultural, Industrial, and Development Bank salutes Mrs. Romualda Hyacinth for her 29 years of dedicated service to the bank. We extend our heartfelt thanks to her and best wishes during her retirement. Mrs. Hyacinth, please come forward. Director Joy Roberts will make a presentation to Mrs. Hyacinth on behalf of the bank. Mr. Martin Charles. Mr. Martin Charles was appointed member of the Board of Directors of the Dominica Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank in March 2000 and became Deputy Director in March 2010. He was appointed Chairman of the Board of Directors in April 2012, a position he held until his appointment to the prestigious position of Dominica's resident ambassador to the People's Republic of China recently. Mr. Charles has evolved over the years and has proven to possess great leadership skills, a quality which he utilized to steer the bank into non-traditional areas such as access to funding from regional and international agencies such as the CARICOM Development Fund, CDF, and BANDES. The bank's lending portfolio expanded under his leadership to include financing for infrastructure development and non-traditional subsectors in tourism and industry. Mr. Charles led and represented the bank with the highest level of distinction and decorum and has set the bank on a higher pedestal, one which is emulated by others. He has also fostered and enabled closer relationships within the bank, as well as between the bank and the government of Dominica, where the support of the government is highly visible, particularly in areas of funding and oversight. Mr. Charles's engaging personality made him very approachable to employees, directors, as well as the bank's cherished customers. His dedication to staff welfare was most recently recognized when the bank honored him at an award ceremony in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. Ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Directors, management, and staff of the Dominica Agricultural, Industrial, and Development Bank salutes Mr. Martin Charles for his outstanding leadership, commitment, and years of dedicated service as a director for the past 18 years. The Deputy Director of the bank, Mr. Simpson Gregoire, will present Mr. Charles with an award.
Thank you, Ms. Cyrus. Thank you to the representatives as well. Congratulations to Mrs. Hyacinth and to Ambassador Charles. You're recognized not because of anything other than your distinct service to the bank and your country. It's approaching the end of today's proceedings, and we are happy that you all were present. I'd like to invite Director Emmanuel to deliver the vote of thanks. Director Emmanuel.
Honorable Reginald Ostry, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Agriculture, Food and Fisheries. His Excellency Eliud Williams, former President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, other honorable members of Cabinet, Mr. Martin Charles, Chairman, Aid Bank, and other board directors, Mrs. Matilda John Rose, General Manager, Acting Aid Bank, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Her Worship Irene John, Mayor of Roseau, Mrs. Rosamond Edwards, Financial Secretary, Mr. Augustus Etienne, Deputy Director, Dominica Social Security, Auditors Grant Thornton of St. Lucia, Mrs. Helen Pascal, Aid Bank Director, Reverend Father Martin, Parish Priest, St. Alphonsus Parish, management and staff of the Aid Bank, affiliates of the bank, customers, clients, other invited guests, listening public, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. A very cordial good morning to all of you. It is a distinct honor to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Dominica Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank's 25th Annual General Meeting. I am indeed humbled above and beyond all, and must firstly recognize the presence of God Almighty, to whom I am profoundly thankful for all the blessings He has bestowed on us this day. We thank Reverend Father Charles Martin, the parish priest of the St. Alphonsus Parish, for kindly consenting to bless the day's proceedings with spiritual wisdom and deeply prayerful and touching offerings on our behalf. Honorable Reginald Austri, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Agriculture, Food and Fisheries, we feel honored and fortified that you have graced us with your presence and delivered the featured address at the 25th Annual General Meeting of the Dominica Agricultural Aid Bank. On behalf of Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Investments, Housings and Land, to whom the bank reports. We thank the government of Dominica for its support over the years, and to the ministers of government who have purposely taken the time to schedule this important meeting as part of your day's agenda. We feel privileged that you have availed yourself to share in this very important occasion, and we sincerely thank you for your presence, which speaks volumes. We are truly heartened to know that the mandate, operations, and success of the bank are extremely important to you. Ladies and gentlemen, today connotes bittersweet emotions. Mr. Martin Charles, Chairman of the Board of Directors, whom we thank most profoundly for the distinguished presentation of the performance and achievements of the bank for the year ended June 2017, and for the instructive insight of the bank's future, given recent climatic and ongoing macroeconomic challenges, has been called to serve our beloved country at a much higher capacity as Ambassador Designate of the Commonwealth of Dominica to the People's Republic of China. We pray for God's blessings on this new journey and sincerely thank you for your service to the Dominica Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank for the past 18 years. Chairman Charles, we are very confident that you will do very well, and we offer our very best wishes for your success in this new endeavor. To Director Helen Pascal, chairperson of the formal session of the day's proceedings, thank you very much for the efficient execution of this event. Mrs. Matilda John Rose, General Manager Acting of the Aid Bank, thank you very much for your welcome remarks. Special thanks also to the other directors of the Aid Bank for your commitment and dedicated service to the bank, and for your contributions which ensured that this meeting was a success. It is my pleasure to thank the members of the Diplomatic Corps present here today. Thank you so very much for attending. I am also grateful to and sincerely thank our distinguished shareholder representatives, the Financial Secretary, Mrs. Rosamond Edwards, and Deputy Director of the Dominica Social Security, Mr. Augustus Etienne. Special thanks to the management team of the Aid Bank and members of staff for attending and participating in today's function on behalf of the Board of Directors. I express heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to all of you for your efforts during the financial period 2016-2017. Special thanks to the 2017 AGM in-house team, the MIS unit, and ushers for all your support in executing this event. Sincere thanks to the parish priest of the St. Alphonsus Parish and his staff for your excellent cooperation in the arrangements for today's function. Special thanks to our auditors, Grant Thornton of St. Lucia, for your hard work throughout the year and in preparation of the financial report for the period ending June 2017. To all our dignitaries and special invited guests, including our customers and associates, thank you all for coming. We are encouraged by your presence. We sincerely thank our performer, Ms. Tasha Peltier, for the beautiful rendition of our national anthem and performance. To our decorating team, Magenesis Enterprises, thank you very much for your skillful and beautiful decor of this space. To our caterer, Ms. Beryl David, we appreciate and thank you so very much for all that you have done to help make this occasion a truly fulfilling one. Ladies and gentlemen, the media plays a fundamental role in disseminating information to the public. We are very pleased that representatives of the media were present in a significant way. In particular, we express heartfelt thanks to DBS and Kyrie for live radio coverage of today's proceedings. In a special way, we also thank the GIS team for live streaming of this event through the GIS website, and in particular, Mr. Mervyn Matthew for his professionalism in the special video production that was displayed earlier today. It would also be remiss of me if I did not acknowledge and most sincerely thank the printers of our 2017 annual report, Paramount Printers, the photographers for the 2017 photo shoot, 365 MMP, and Quick Print, the graphic designers of the agenda for our 25th annual general meeting, as well as our other service providers, Innov 8, Multimedia, and Campbell's Business Systems and Services Limited. Thank you so very much for the fine job that you have all done. Lastly, but very importantly, we genuinely thank the Dominican public, locally, regionally, and internationally for tuning in to the bank's 25th annual general meeting. We look forward to doing business with you as we all commit to building a resilient Dominica. Thank you all once again, and God bless.
And thank you, Mrs. Emmanuel, for delivering this vote of thanks. This meeting is hereby adjourned, and we invite all to view the exhibits in the corridor and to share refreshments with us before leaving. The business session will commence in the next 30 or so minutes, but it will be a closed session. Thanks once again to all for your presence here today. Thank you.